For my 6.1 research project, I decided to take a deeper look into children's books, more specifically their design principles and what makes a book appealing to a younger reader. A key theme I will be looking at will be illustrators' use of visuals and styles, and when they use them to communicate effectively with younger audiences. Seeing as I chose to create a children's book for my self-initiated project, this seemed like a good topic to research into so I could have a deeper level of understanding when creating my own work. There are hundreds and thousands of children's books to be read and looked at in the world, and I felt it was important to look at a vast range of them. Of course, I looked at some classics like The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle, which has always been a favourite of mine, as I love the vibrance of the colours and the interactiveness of the wholes. I also was particularly fond of the Maisie books as a child, illustrated by Lucy Cousins, so I looked at those too. I really like the childlike style of illustration used in these books, and the block colours bring a sense of joy and adventure to the collection, which is something I intend to take into my own work. I knew I wanted to look at children's books with a more unique art style, and began this process by looking at Die Tong Angeber by Marta Ignerska. It is a Polish book that explains and visualises the sounds of the orchestra through dynamic illustrations and lively contrasting colours. I found this book interesting as I had never seen sounds be visualised so effectively through stationary illustration. Through looking for further information on the book, I also found a short animated adaptation of the book, which I also thought was really cool. Other books like Le Rêve de Milo by Sverrin Millet took my interest because of its use of geometric shapes. Stripping back the detail and having a book made up of simple shapes can be an effective way to go about illustrating a children's book, as pattern recognition is a key part of neurodevelopment in younger children, and learning different shapes and their properties can assist in this field. Other books, such as Mercredi by Anne Berthier, take a similar approach, using different geometric shapes creatively to create a new image or meaning with them. I was also keen to look at how illustrators approach visualizing books with more diverse voices in them, so I looked at I Am Enough by Grace Byers, illustrated by Keturah A. Bobo. This book features empowering messages paired with a soft and inclusive illustration set. The balance of text and uplifting visuals is something that really intrigued me, as my own work has some heavier topics to discuss, and seeing how the illustrator approached this in their work inspired me with my own. I looked into Walter Benjamin's essay on a child's view of colour to understand better the unique way children perceive and interact with colour differently to adults. It seems his theory states that children engage with colours on a haptic level, meaning they are more focused on the tactile and sensory experience rather than the depth or three-dimensionality, as they perceive this through their sense of touch. His perspective emphasises the immediacy and physicality of children's interactions with their environment, or in this case books. Benjamin states that the child's view of colour represents the highest artistic development of the sense of sight. It is sight at its purest, because it is isolated. To put it simply, he is celebrating the child's direct sensory interaction with the world of colour as an aesthetic ideal, free from the more intellectual concerns that often characterise adult perception. Children are able to see things such as colour without the interference of learned interpretations. Children's visual engagement with colour, therefore, is pure, as it is rooted in sensation and immediate experience, unlike adults who often attach meanings, associations, or functional purposes to colours. Thinking about this in reflection of my own life, one of the first functional purposes of colour to me was the different coloured books we had for lessons in primary school, and after researching this theory, I find it interesting that this will probably be the same for a lot of people my age. Understanding this way of thinking, I looked into more books such as What's Inside by Isabel Minos Martins, illustrated by Maddalena Matoso. The visuals in this book are very effective, and I think the balance of visuals to type is brilliant. The style of illustration caught my eye, as it is simple and clear to the reader what it is, without needing very much detail to achieve this. I think the less structured layout works perfectly in the context of the book, and also makes it feel more interactive for the reader. During my investigations of design principles for children's books, I found that the interaction that exists among visuals, styles, and narratives makes these pieces both entertaining and meaningful to young readers. Whether it is the interactive features and colours in The Very Hungry Caterpillar, or the newer, more interactive styles in Die Tong Angeber and Le Rêve de Milo, it's clear that good performance goes beyond the aesthetics. Instead, it is a key facilitator for connection, learning, and even imagination. What Benjamin says about the purity of children has provided an understanding of how children relate to visuals on a sensory level. This has deepened my awareness of the importance of design's concerns such as simplicity, directness, and the ability to be touched. It has also explained why features such as geometric shapes and even portrait styles, as reflected in I Am Enough, not only appeal to children but help their intellectual and emotional development. Through this research, in addition to amplifying my knowledge of what makes children's literature meaningful, I now also have tools that can implement my own creative practice. By combining these principles with my personal artistic vision, I aim to create work that is both visually captivating and meaningful for younger readers.